Hey, welcome back to another episode here. And before I dive into today's topic, I just want to ask you to go to your favorite podcast platform and subscribe. Because if you are getting access to this podcast through email, what happens is we release episodes that are not notifying people through email just because we don't want to bombard you with a whole bunch of emails here. So if you enjoy this podcast, if you're getting value from this podcast, and you want to get every single episode, then please go to your favorite podcast platform and subscribe there. Today, I want to talk about this question, a very important question, which is what do you think about before you go to bed? Now, some of you might be thinking, well, it's none of your business. That's my bedroom. That's not necessarily the context in which I'm asking. I want you to think about this. Whatever your last thoughts are before you go to bed, and I'm not just talking about the last minute, I'm talking about the last hour, could be last hour and a half, actually influences what you think about during sleep because your brain activity is actually continuing. Okay, we know this through studies that have been done in terms of what happens during sleep. Part of that is memory consolidation. Sometimes you play back situations and events throughout the day, and it's an opportunity for your brain to learn. And I actually like to test things myself. I'm my biggest guinea pig, and I do experiments on myself, which is fun at times, and sometimes it's not so fun. But I've done this experiment over a period of about 4 to 6 months, where I've taken a look and tracked what I think about before I go to bed, the quality of sleep that I get, and if I have specific dreams, if I can remember those dreams, and how I wake up in the morning and in what type of mood. And there is absolutely a direct correlation between the types of stuff that the type of stuff that I think about, whether it's shows or intentional stuff like meditation and gratitude practices, and how I sleep and the mood that I wake up in. And here's the fundamental I'm going to say a conclusion that I've come to, not only in the research studies, but my own personal experimentation, is that what I think about before I go to bed absolutely determines how well I sleep and if I wake up in a good mood or not in the morning, and whether I have good dreams or not. And so if you want to be a what we call a champion performer, or you can say peak performer, how you get up in the morning has a significant impact on how you perform throughout the day. We've all had these situations where we get up in the morning and we just don't feel right. There's something perhaps in one of our dreams or something that was happening while we were sleeping that we wake up and we're like, I'm not 100% today. Not sure what it is, but I'm not 100%. And I'm going to drag my feet a little bit, or I'm going to be a little off in my mood, or whatever it is that ends up happening. So if we want to be high performers, we got to optimize our sleep. And optimizing our sleep means that we need to prep our sleep appropriately, not only through, some people wear blue light blocking glasses, for example, that allows your brain to go into more of the you can say the theta, alpha, delta sleep waves, you can say, without actually staying more alert. Some people have a reading routine. They might read a certain type of book. Whatever that routine is, great. I think having a routine is very important. We know this through studies, because having a regular routine enables you to sleep more effectively. But we also want to pay attention to what we are thinking about, because you can have a regular sleep routine, but have what I'm going to call disempowering thoughts that then influence your sleep, and then you're not 100% in the morning. And this is what a lot of CEOs, this is what a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners, executives, people in high stress positions, they all pretty much talk about the same thing, where when times are tough, they have a tough time sleeping. And in most of those cases, it's because they are trying to solve the problem before they go to bed, or they are thinking about the problem before they go to bed. And I know it's easier said than done, but that's not something you want to do. Because if you're thinking about the problem, what do you think your brain is going to ruminate on throughout your sleep? Now, here's the interesting thing. Our brain is naturally a problem-solving mechanism. Okay, it's an organ that is driven to achieve a goal, to predict, and to problem solve. So if we give it a problem, guess what? It's going to get hooked on that problem. It's going to be thinking about that problem until it finds some kind of a solution to that problem. And if you do that before you go to bed, if you give your brain a problem before you go to bed, guess what you're going to be doing overnight? So to simplify here, and again, for you people that are high performers, I totally get it. I 110% get it that our minds are racing and we want to solve those problems, but try not to do it for the last hour, hour and a half before you go to bed. And People talk about distractions. I talk about distractions all the time from a performance standpoint. But this is one of the times where I'm going to say distractions are actually positive. So if you find yourself getting caught up in work or problems before you get to bed, distract yourself. If you have to distract yourself with positive, uplifting TV, do it. If you have to distract yourself by, playing with your kids or whatever that is that distracts you, do it. Because the last thing you want to do is go to sleep thinking about a problem, because you're most likely going to wake up. You're going to wake up with the same problem anyways, but you're going to be ruminating over it throughout the night. So hopefully this brings you value. Hopefully you put this into your regular daily habit routine, because that's going to enable you to perform better. Remember that performance, optimal performance, reaching your fullest potential isn't something that is done overnight. It is daily habits that you put into place. It is growth. It's evolution. And this is one of those daily habits to put into place that will have a significant long-term positive impact.